On August 31st, 2022, I had the good fortune to interview Elke Babicki for my podcast about her book, Identity from Holocaust to Home. I have to admit, sometimes real-life stories are much more riveting than a made-up tale for novels or movies. Identity is an inspirational story that leads from tragedy to triumph and needs to reach a big audience. It would also make a terrific movie, as well as a relevant one, not only for boomers who love the 60s and 70s, but also for younger folks whose connections to such far-reaching historical events as the Holocaust are a bit more sketchy. Now that chaos has crept into too many people's lives due to COVID repercussions, it's more important than ever for an unusual book like this to reach people, like Viktor Frankl in his book Man's Search for Meaning was able to capture. Elke learned from her own upbringing what is necessary for freedom of mind to overcome suffering. Elke's story covers a time period from 1933, during Hitler's rise to power, to the Holocaust, to the present. In 1940, the author's father lost his family, his wealth, his identity, but survived the worst concentration camps against all odds. His harrowing escape from a camp just before the war ended, his method of escape? Hiding under the dead until the camp cleared. Demonstrated a grit that I don't know if I would be capable of. In fact, I may have lasted just a few days, as most people did in the camp, let alone hiding among the dead. Then after the war, with Germany in shambles, he worked the black market and eventually started a successful deli. All the while feeling his life had been ripped from him, his family, his destiny. He created a completely different life by marrying a German Catholic girl, both of them capable of rising above prejudice. The war that should have separated them actually brought them together. From the outside, it seemed that all was well, but internally, his PTSD controlled their lives. Elke was a product of that marriage, and as a teenager in 1970, learned English by belting out songs by the Beatles, Leonard Cohen, and Cat Stevens, liberating herself at age 20 when she decided to immigrate to Canada on her own. Not knowing the language, no work permit, and only $3,000 to her name, she was determined to create a new life. She displayed amazing, authentic grit, going to university, gaining her master's, and setting up private practice in Toronto, and finally Vancouver. A registered clinical counselor now, for over 25 years she's helped people cope with many of life's issues, helping thousands live their best lives. Elke has always wanted to tell the family story, and published the first book in Germany in 2017 to great fanfare, and finally the English version in 2021. Which has won several awards already. This story, her family story, must be told to as many people as possible. We can all benefit from the kind of authentic grit and resilience her family had to muster. Now, when I face a problem, I just think of Alex, and I know I can overcome anything.